With the discipline of trained warriors, MVP Black comes back in this series to a 1-1 situation for the mid-season Brawl playoffs, as now Dignitas looks to kind of recoup their losses here going into game number 3. Wondering where we're going to end up overall, but wherever we do, we definitely have a true series on our hands between these two, and I won't have it any other way, really. I would like to see a full 5-mapper, considering all of our series have been quite short today.
Couldn't agree more with you. I want more of that. I would have loved the Fnatic series to go 5 games. I want this series to go 5 games. I'm very sure the players disagree on it, but for us and the audience, that would probably be the dream here.
Yeah, we like to put the players to work. Players like really clean, easy, simple 3-0 victories. Or maybe coming back from an 0-2 all the way to 3-2. That feels pretty good too. But overall, yeah, I'm sure both of these teams wouldn't mind having a double back-to-back victory and save some of the stress for later on in the tournament.
I mean, right now we're having probably Fnatic sitting back at the hotel, chilling at the screens, looking at this and then studying for the next opponent and just eating a bit of popcorn.
That or they're in the sauna, by the pool, chilling. They don't care. They're fine. Oh, we're almost in the finals, boys. It's all right. We're going to be going on to Battlefield of Eternity next, though, for game number 3 between these two teams. And the thing is that as a serious point to the idea of, I just want to get the series done as quickly as possible, the quicker you get the series done, the less you have to show going into the next stages of the actual tournament itself.
Yeah, exactly. So if you can hide a few strategies, if you don't have to play every map, that's always an advantage going into the next stage. So the teams would love to clinch this out with a 3-1. And personally, with Battlefield of Eternity, I love this because we are bound to get even more team fighting now.
And the thing is that this is the map as we get into game number 3 here for Team Dignitas going up against MVP Black. Draft begins. This is the map where Team Dignitas was able to make the miraculous recovery against L5 fam.
Yeah, you have to imagine that this is one of Team Dignitas' favorite maps at this point. They're just, every time they lose both their keeps, they win the game, and that's a pretty easy win condition if that's what's, that's what you're counting on. See an instant Abathur ban here for Team Dignitas, followed by a Dahaka ban. So both globals are out of the game at this point.
So that's Uther first pick, easy peasy shoe-in.
I have to say that I absolutely love that we have Abathur with such a high priority for this tournament, because if you would have thought back a few weeks, then Abathur on this map was just a no-go. This was one of those things where a lot of Dragonshire is saying, where a lot of teams just say like, yeah, you can't play him here. Then we have a few more heroes introduced in the game. They start to change the meta completely, and all of a sudden you have picks on maps making a resurgence. I think it's so cool to see how a tournament like this changes everything within just a few days.
Yeah, and I've already heard that some of the popular picks that have been seen in mid-season Brawl over the last 6 or so days or so have been picked up a lot more in the ladder. You're going to see more Tyrael, you're going to see more Stitches, Uther. Oh, sure. Always Nova. Whether you see her or not.
See what you did there.
Hey.
MVP Black with their double pick rotation, taking quite a lot of time here.
Yeah, I gotta imagine they want to take away the Anub, maybe the Genji as well, and ends up being those 2 here. Leaving the Greymane for the other team, but they're definitely 2 very solid picks. I like the Anub takeaway from JPL. He really favors Anub and Stitches from what I've seen, and even 2-3 rotate on the Stitches here.
Wow.
What I would love to see, I mean, we are not getting it here. They already revealed that, and I don't think they would even consider it. But in a situation like this, I would think it's super funny when the teams flip it around and all of a sudden, after the Uther, we see the Vala Oriel being picked up. Just the reverse from the draft on map number 1, basically saying, you tried that against us and you failed. Now we're going to show you how it's really done.
Yeah.
We had that once or twice, I think, in the group stage with Easter, and it was just absolutely beautiful. But we're coming back to the Stitches, and this caters really to the map. We talked about this being a teamfight map, and there's so many opportunities in these standoffs to get a good hook in and then get the isolation.
Do you want to ban out a support to prevent the cleanse follow-up to a hook? Like you could remove Rhaegar or Mal.
Yeah, well, at this point, you can only remove one or the other, and they'll pick the other one. You might still want to consider removing Mouth, but at the same time, he adds another proc for Guardian of Ancient Kings, so I would understand if they got rid of something else.
Do you think they're thinking about Tyrael here?
For MVP Black, I think it's definitely a potential option. Genji Anubrak is a pretty, flexible opening. They can go whichever way they want right now. For MVP Black, though, they are seemingly trying to ban out Zalia's hero pool here. We see the Dahaka first ban. It's very much a Zalia hero. The Arthas second ban also. Two of Zalia's probably most comfortable tank picks at this point in time.
There can be scary moments, though, targeting Zalia sometimes, because then you force him onto things that are carry-worthy, and then he just kind of pops off.
Yeah, something like a Tracer, for example, when he's just like hyping around the entire time and being a happy little kid.
Yeah. I was expecting Medivh fast start rotation here. Medivh to stop the hook blow up, Portal to get the target out, and Falstad to provide the off-lane soak so that you can basically have a very long poking wars. But that can still be saved for last.
Now, the Medivh enabled so many things in the last game and kept especially the aggressive assassins really, really safe. I was pretty impressed how MVP Black ran that. They had a lot of damage, a lot of input with this. The portals enabled a lot. The ley lines were an amazing setup for them. And just keeping those assassins alive the entire time during the fights and allowing them to go into the back lane is so valuable for them. I also think that it's a great tool when you're looking at the Stitches. Every single time we have that hook in, you have now the shield. We already have a very mobile Genji. We have a very mobile Anubarak. So the one target that you have at this point is basically the Rhaegar. That's the best choice. And if then a portal comes in and he gets out...
Yeah. Now, Dignitas has an issue, because if you cocoon the Uther, there is no Guardian of Ancient Kings. So you need someone with really reliable cocoon breaking ability, and so far they don't really have it. If you put Greymane on it, that's a huge loss of DPS. Illidan Kael'thas is just so surprising.
I think at this point they're running out of heroes. Illidan is one of the few Zalia heroes left that he's played in this tournament, and then Kael'thas, one of Mena's signature heroes. There's
sure.
Also the Li Ming and the Chromie and the Sylvanas, but all of those heroes kind of struggle against Genji. So
yeah, they kind of banned out Zalia, haven't they, with the Dahaka Arthas?
Well, that's what we were referring to earlier, right? The idea of you take Dignitas off a second warrior, which is a bit more timid, and then you force them down an aggressive path, because that's where Zalia thrives elsewhere other than the initial double warrior.
The thing is, I don't really believe that you can ban Zalia out.
No,
it's
not
a little
really.
bit different from when he started with Dignitas, because at the start he played literally everything.
Yep.
He was basically the guy, whatever was left, he would jump on it.
Whoa.
But even though we see him on a few key heroes that he really prioritizes highly, watching their scrims for a long time, he has a huge variety that he can still play that they normally don't have to go into. So it's not like you're forcing him into a hero where you can say he's going to be super uncomfortable on the hero and we're not going to see him perform to that level.
So this is a very, very similar composition to what we saw from Roll20 on this map, actually, with the Artanis Medivh coming in as well as the Genji. So what do you think about this composition that they have created here going up against Dignitas?
Well, Dignitas is almost fully back to their Western class draft style, where they have Stitches, triple assassin, and then Uther now has heal on someone and on himself. That's what Tyrande was previously. So Dignitas is running a huge blow-up comp. They are against Medivh from Sake, who played an amazing game last game with Force of Will, but if you don't overlap your stuns too much, that's quite a long period of stun with Uther and Kael'thas. So Dignitas could do it. This is one of their strongest drafts.
Time to get the predictions, Scaldor.
Back to Dig. I think they make it. They have Zalia on the... they have definitely the momentum to drive it. They have double stun after a hook, I believe, in the Stitches and also in the follow-up. I think Dignitas has the 2-1 here.
I'm going to go with Dignitas for the third time. I'm 1-1 so far on those predictions, but I believe in the Dignitas Stitches triple assassin.
Okay.
Actually gonna go with MVP Black this time around. I feel like Dignitas, they almost had their comfort composition, but now they have an Illidan who wants to dive in, and then the rest of their composition is the Stitches hook into blow up, which I find a little bit weird. I think they can make it work with Illidan's split soaking side lanes, but going with MVP on this one.
All right, chat, what do you have? Tell us, chat. Let's see. As it's going to be swaying a bit now. Chat changing their minds slightly. So thank you very much for continuing to be involved. If you don't know what's going on, all you have to do is hashtag the team in chat, and you will be voting for who you think is actually going to be winning. For now, though, we're going to go over to game number 3. It's 1-1 here, Dignitas and MVP Black.
The series is heating up between Dignitas and MVP Black, and with 2 calculated games out of the way, I am ready to see the aggression come online with those 2 drafts, Trixler.
Gotta agree with you. Series all tied up here. MVP Black on the blue here on the left side. Reset playing Genji, Tist on Anubrek, Meriday on Rhaegar, Kyocho on Artanis, and Sake once again on Medivh. Watch for him to make some plays.
Oh, I'm so pumped for that composition, but I'm equally excited for this one, a Team Dignitas classic with Bakery playing Uther, JPL on Stitches, Snitch playing Greymane, Zaelia on Illivan, and Mene playing Kael'thas.
Mene on his beloved KT. The only mage that we have yet to see him on this tournament is that Jaina. Maybe we'll see that down the line, but for now, watch for him to throw fire because he can be very effective with it. Meriday on the top left side here sees JPL. The hook comes out. It will miss out, and Tist decides to go in for an engage.
Tist, Reset, and Meriday are ready for adventure. So is Sake here, but Dignitas gets back in time, so stalling out the first blood so far. I did want to note that MVP Black, their switch to playing a lot more Rhaegar was fairly recent. A lot more play with that once they hit playoffs, and Genji was available for drafting. Until then, had only played Rhaegar in one time in all of Phase 1. So it's the addition of Genji, making sure that you can Ancestral and not overlap, deflect with things like Palm or Divine Shield.
I also want to yell about that I really enjoy MP Black and their way of dealing with Stitches and their hooks here. They have Medivh for portals out, they have Artanis that can force and engage. Maybe later on we can have Graviton Vortex. If a Stitches grabs somebody, you could turn around and flip the opposing team in and change up all placement. You have Rhaegar for the movement, you have Force of Will to save the teammate. The Sake is able to get out here as well, so MVP Black is more than ready to deal with Dignitas. They will again need perfect coordination here to secure takedowns.
But that still was only 1 minute and 15 seconds in the game, and it was almost the death of Sake. So MVP Black has to know that this composition is something that has been executed so many times by Team Dignitas. They are potent with this comp.
Especially until they get to level 7 here. MVP Black, the hook into the Uther Stone, into the Gravity Labs. Team Dignitas is near perfect with landing these combinations.
Yes.
They secure kills left and right, so MVP Black will have to play safe. Look at Meriday already. He's playing safe with that movement speed they got at level 1. Immortals will start to be attacked here as Snitch will move forward with that Greymane and the aid of Zaelia to burn it down.
Yeah, Ghost Wolf build is a favorite of Meriday. Jumps in for a Feral Lunge. Helping Hand brings back Bakery just a little bit away from MVP Black. But the first Immortal phase has started, and at level 1, Kyocha gets Amateur Opponent, which makes him such a good killer of an Immortal, but also, he's a pretty good killer of Stitches.
Yeah, he goes in there and he burns down that Stitches, which will allow him to turn around and burn down the Immortal. Dignitas taking a big loss here in the early stages will put MVP Black in a solid lead as they hit the halftime show at 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
Also looking at the Kael'thas build, Fel Infusion. Usually we see Mana Addict for Mene, but in this case there's not a lot of time where you're in lanes to be able to consistently get globes. So in this case, having his own way of being able to heal himself up, and plus giving him a little bit more spell power. We'll see how the build unfolds later on, if he continues down the Verdant Spheres path with something like Sunfire Enchantment, or just continues with Flame Strike build, which is the norm for him.
Well, for now, MVP Black will win the race here on the Immortals. Getting that pick on Stitches was instrumental into them winning that race. We'll see them push into the lane here and get aggressive on their opponents. Dignitas typically, in this point, they'll look for a fight, but Sake is really preventing that. Floating around the opposing team and keeping eyes on the Stitches is one of the best things you can do as a Medivh player.
It is a fairly low Immortal, but Dignitas still needs to be cautious of MVP Black. This is a battleground that MVP Black has been known for so long, and their ability to win off of the second Immortal by getting picks in this crucial time from the first one and in between the first and second phase. So in this case, Team Dignitas take it out without losing a single member while keeping Zaelia in the top lane to soak. Very impressive.
That they are. Actually falling slightly ahead here in experience. Artanis will be able to clear up that lane and take the lead back here. But yes, a tug of war between these two teams. And so far, JPL not landing the hooks that he's wanting to secure on his opponents. He's looking for mostly Rhaegar here, or even the Medivh after a Force of Will is being used. But so far, MVP Black is not providing any opportunities, and we're moving towards level 7.
Got 2 members still up in the top. Team Dignitas trying to get aggressive. A portal has been placed. The other 2 having escaped everyone will stay safe. But still, Team Dignitas trying to use this time where they have a man advantage in the bottom to their advantage, capitalizing and taking out a couple towers.
Yeah, killing those turrets were important. They're wanting to make sure that they are neck and neck here with their opponents in terms of experience. This also opens up the opportunity for them to start moving into mercenaries. They grab the one here on the bottom, allows them to push in the bottom lane and get that full wave, and then move over to their mercs in the top right and get pressure on their opponent, which can be very nice, especially with their triple assassin that they have available. When they go to the immortal phase, they can force fights if they see anyone defending that push.
So far, nobody has left just yet to go to the shaman of Team Dignitas. Kyocha trying to keep alive these Khazra and keep Xaylia here too. Xaylia is a great merker for Team Dignitas, but so too is Snitch. Unfortunately for Snitch, the dive coming in, Helping Hand tried to help out there. Gravity Labs to counter, but all of MVP Black stays safe. Importantly though, Dignitas kept Snitch alive.
That's right, Snitch will live here. He does have to run back home and heal up, which may delay their ability to grab these mercenary camps. That dive actually forces Dignitas to be slightly later than they would like to be in the middle of the rotation, which makes MVP Black a little bit stronger. Remember, they have that Medivh, so if they can force their engage or need to jump on a Immortal quicker, they can as a unit. They're going to grab their own mercs here on the left as well, pushing the bottom, and the top is going to be equally pushed here, and now it comes down to the dance of the Immortals.
Sake keeping an eye on the members of Team Dignitas. Reset, throwing out some light damage to the Immortal, but it is defensive spawns for both. Team Dignitas can hope to get some hooks in if anybody from MVP Black gets aggressive, but MVP Black are totally fine with just focusing on the macro game out in the lanes, trying to get to 10.
Dignitas rotates in, hoping to get a hook, not connecting once again, and they can't really afford to put anyone over on the left side here for the mercenaries because of Medivh being able to come in. Sake constantly chasing around that gray main, who is the major threat of that race occurring. Sake will get hit here with a gravity lapse. Does he have a portal? He does. He drops it, but he gets away with low health.
Gets into Raven form in time as well. Team Dignitas starting to aggress forward. They're starting to fall behind in experience too. Swap used, JPL still nice and healthy.
I love how MVP Black is doing this. They come in for the fight, and anytime a Stitches gets near the Immortal, their own Immortal, where they can hook into an Immortal stun like this, they actually go away and pull back from the area. Reset will step by that stun, turn around and put some damage on JPL, but up until that point, MVP Black has been playing very well around that hook.
I got a little scary for Sake. Hammer of Justice as he walked through his own portal, but he made it out. Reset and Xaylia trading blows, but so far it's been another calculated aggression game between both of our teams.
Both the teams just working on moving towards level 10, and so far MVP Black has gotten the slight upper hand. They pushed in the bottom and made a couple of minions get missed out here for Team Dignitas, so they should miss out on level 10 slightly lower than their opponents. So MVP Black just racing towards that 10, and Dignitas, they're looking for something, but the opportunity is still not arising. Look at JPL. He's being watched now by Sake. They understand the only way that they can lose out on this Immortal race is if somebody gets picked off by that hook.
Yeah, I love how MVP Black is playing this out. Speaking of the hook, it hits and it's on Kyocha, but Reset is there and so is Sake, and MVP Black is just too close to heroic abilities. Finally, MVP Black have been able to throw off Team Dignitas from defending their Immortal with the threat of heroic abilities.
The theme of the entire series so far is MVP Black has been slightly better in rotations every single time, and that was a great rotation as well. They knew that their Illidan was on the top, they knew Stitches was to the right, and if they get hooked, it doesn't matter too much because Greymane and Keltos were on the bottom, and they took that opportunity and they got a massive lead in the Immortal race. Dignitas is forced to sit here and play on the defensive side. The hunt has been picked up.
Kyocha gets picked up as well with the gravity lapse. Future Miles coming out. JPL trying to zone Sake away. Hunt 2, Ancestral Healing misses.
Ancestral Healing not connecting in time. Artanis also getting focused. The Shield Surge will come out in time. Can they live through it? Kyocha still surviving. He's turning around. Artanis finally falls, but multiple members are low. Genji looking for the fight.
The cocoon was incredible from Tist. It nearly saved the life of Kyocha, but it wasn't enough. Now Snitch goes in for another kill and takes out Maryday.
Snitch is low, but the heal comes out. Bakery keeping him alive. JP on the side too. He hits the hook. There will be a stun. The hunt once again connects, and Dignitas getting multiple kills. 3 members have fallen. Artanis does spawn, but they have to work on an Immortal and get back in this game.
Only a few more seconds until Rhaegar's back, but Genji's still down for another 10. Team Dignitas trying to use this time to their advantage and get the Immortal health bar brought down. Xaylia is the one sitting there. JPL waiting to heal back up, now getting in. Hook pulls in Tis. This might be another kill. No, Tis, Burrow charges away.
They have to be careful because Artanis, the best warrior in the world, is working on burning down the Immortal. He's up in the top right, and he's getting it. Medivh will fall, and will also lose out on the Master Touch stocks, but suddenly this Immortal is still being burned down. Kyocho with the flip, he's trying to survive while JPL rotates in. They're gonna get him, Artanis falls!
He's not getting out of here, and Meriday looks to be in trouble too. Gravity Labs connects, another kill for Team Dignitas.
Dignitas getting the kills, but they lose out in the Immortal race. But getting 2 kills, that's not a bad consolation prize. Now they can turn around and focus on burning the Immortal. They have that Greymane, they have that Illidan who can go and split push, and if they ever have to move into a fight, they certainly can with the Hunt about to be up.
MVP Black does not have their support, so this push just can't be as strong as they would like it to be. And Team Dignitas know this. As you can see, the Immortal health bar being brought down. And from all of the kills that they have gotten, Team Dignitas have gotten a level lead over MVP Black.
Suppression Pulse being used there just to make sure that they get that fort here, trying to keep up the experience, as you mentioned. Yes, a full level lead here for Dignitas with their kills. They're moving towards level 13, and they're also going to move down and defend that fort on the bottom right. MVP Black is in a scenario where they have to make a play, and they are trying. They come in, and they find a loose Bakery.
That they do. Bakery stays healthy, and now Zaelia is on the back line. By the way, Sake did lose his Master's Touch stacks. Nice! Cyber agility away from the hook.
Reset gets away, he turns around, he looks at Zaelia. Zalia's low. Baker comes out with a Divine Shield, but was that worth it? Keeping Illidan alive, he will head back home and heal on up, but that's a heroic down while Team Dignitas hits 13.
MVP Black want to siege up this final fort of Team Dignitas and catch up in that experience. They can do so once they get these Khazra, but they have to be careful. They don't have 13. It's not the end of the world to fight, especially with the ley line seal on Mene.
The Hunt comes in. We're going to have the Cocoon instantly out here. We're going to have Kyocho on the top right here working on Illidan. The blind comes out at the same time. A hook connects, but the portal gets Meriday away.
Perfect Ancestral along with Deflect to keep Reset alive. Kyocho's in trouble. He's not getting out of here. Once Artanis is in the fight, he is in. Still tries to swap in. Stays alive for a really long time, but in the end, Dignitas brings him down.
It's not enough, and this is where Illidan works hard here. He goes in for the flips. He works in those auto attacks. The Immortals responding in 20 seconds. Team Dignitas, with their talent lead and their number advantage, will pull back and set up for the next Immortal. They would love to start getting the race in, but MVP Black, seeing that members are backing, they're trying to delay. If they don't, they can even move in for pushing a fort.
Zaelia getting some pressure on the board, getting his Shaman camp for the team. Sake checks that out and sees that he has started that while the Immortals have spawned. So this is a little bit of time where MVP Black can try to equalize out this, or even get ahead in the Immortal health, but at the same time, they're still trying to soak in the lanes for 13-2. Putrid Bile, Medivh is gone!
Wow, another hook connecting the portal too late. Medivh has fallen, and that is the Master Touches. Reset once again here. Sake not able to finish off that talent here. And we have Zaelia on the bottom right dealing with Reset, but the main focus should be the Immortal. Everyone turns their eyes towards the Immortal, and they burn it down, and for the first time, Team Dignitas takes the lead in the Immortal race.
They keep causing staggered deaths for MVP Black. They're able to make the picks happen, and we know it's because of their perfect synchronization of all of their crowd control options. MVP Black is still willing to fight being down members. They are down Medivh, but he's on his way back out, so they're just trying to slow this down, slow down the Immortals until they can have a 5-on-5 fight, because they are desperate to catch up.
MVP Black on the defense here on the top, pushing in their waves as well. Reset on the bottom left will start chunking away at this Immortal while they have members coming in for the rotation. Illidan will be on the bottom to clear up, but remember, he has a Hunt available, and Dignitas has all heroics available as well as MVP Black.
Tense moment for both of these teams. Tist spies JPL moving up for some damage on the Immortal.
Ooh, they go over for the combo. The Phoenix being used here on the bottom, not enough, but Dignitas will take the opportunity to move in for the rotation. They're looking at Kyochi here on the left side, but Reset's on his way in after tapping. He would love to jump on top of Snitch.
That he would. It's dangerous to fight underneath this Immortal, especially with JPL using Bile. MVP Black will use this moment to disengage, knowing that they forced that heroic ability until it's done. Tist dives back in for the fight. He's used Cocoon, Divine Shield 2, and Resets. Time for Resets.
Reset's going in. The Leyland Seal will stop the slowdown overall, though. Ancestral connecting, and Reset finds Mene. He gets him low. Will be able to move on in. Don't think he actually quite connected there, so he didn't get the Reset. The hook from JPL will be under the fort. The Hunt comes in and they'll get the kill on Genji. Zelia charging forward, knowing that he can jump on top of Kyocha. Tisk finally getting the cooldowns up, and Dignitas will pull on back and move towards the Immortal.
1 for 1 on damage dealers so far. Looking at the Immortals, Team Dignitas is still ahead in the health and still ahead in experience. They could possibly make it so that they have the 16 talent tier over their opponents with this Immortal.
MVP Black trying to delay their opponents, but Dignitas isn't having none of it. They turn around and focus down the Immortal. Suppression Pulse out at the same time. We're going to have Greymane jumping in, and finally they get the kill there here. The Hunt is going to be used, but sadly not a kill. 16 on the horizon for Dignitas, and they have a push in the top lane.
They're prepping this wave to push all the way up against the towers. This is Dignitas' moment to take out structures from MVP Black and start to get ahead. So far, they've had to deal with Immortals from MVP Black, but it is Dignitas' time. A hook went out.
This is a scary moment for MVP Black. They have to watch out for an Illidan engage that can dive in at any point. They have to make sure their Force of Wills are also there, and they have to dodge the cocktails that will be coming their way, while MVP Black is working desperately in the bottom to work on that 16. They are a full level away. JPL on the right side. He's looking for a hook. He connects a Nubarak, but he's too big there. He'll be able to get out.
16 seconds, every single hook where MVP have a breath. They can take a breath, try to burn down the Immortal. They still don't have 16. Artanis has come back. The keep is halfway down. Gravity Labs comes out.
Manny on the back right has been blinded. Reset charges forward, putting out the damage. Bakery doing what he can to keep him alive, low on health. Genji does pop the deflect. He gets stunned. He gets blown up. Ancestor healing too late. Mary Day also in trouble. Snitch goes in. Divine Shield being used, but Dignitas gets a third kill. They also have someone in a cocoon on the bottom left, but Zelia finally getting out. Sake gets out with a retreat, but the core is the main focus. Dignitas want to take a lead 2-1.
Leyline seal delayed, but only for a moment. They were delaying. The inevitable Team Dignitas finds an opening and they take it to go up in this series 2-1.
Incredible use of the Hunt as they finished it there. Every time deflect was used, or they had a point where they could actually set up multiple CCs, they would use the Hunt as a finisher to come in and secure the takedowns. They also use Illidan as a way to get leads. Really solid job here by Dignitas, and Illidan just working out for him.
Yeah, everything was so well timed for Team Dignitas, to the point that Mary Day, I mentioned it, MVP Black loves pairing Reset on Genji and Mary Day on Rhaegar. So for Mary Day to have so much trouble keeping Reset alive with Ancestral Healing, that is a testament to how well executed that comp was from Team Dignitas.
Dignitas is taking those heroes and introducing so much chaos to the point where Ancestral Healing couldn't even be there in time. You can't even fault Mary Day there. You have to literally predict a hook is coming out and drop the Ancestral before your teammate blows up, and he never could really pull that off. Absolutely insane job here by Dig as they go up in the series 2-1.
2-1, one more game, and they can send MVP Black down to the lower bracket, getting their first win over that team. But before we get to the next game, let's check in with the analyst panel.
That's right, the East and West champions going toe-to-toe. Dignitas slightly eking out there, to be fair, in pretty impressive fashion. And it goes to show, sometimes when you try and limit Zelia on that kind of position, it doesn't go well. The Hunt Illidan was a bit of a mind blower there as well.
Yeah, I really loved it. And we've been talking about the issue that if you... Zelia's a little bit like Xingzi. Not on the same level, I would say. He's not quite there yet, but he is one of those guys, if you want to ban out his hero pool, you all of a sudden are faced with another hero where he really excels.
Yeah.
And the way that Dignitas has controlled these team fights around him as well with his help was pretty fantastic.
Now, most people at home know Illidan the Hunt to be the one that starts the fight and then dies, like a ladder. But
The 1 versus 5 engage, right?
yeah, the 1 versus 5 engage. Come with me, guys. But this was actually so freaking awesome.
Yes.
How Illidan would save the Hunt. You fight the whole fight without Metamorphosis, so you don't have like a free invincibility moment, a self-cleansing moment. You save the Hunt, you fight without it, and then suddenly in the middle of the fight, are you prepared? Well, Black wasn't. It was so cool to see. And it's also another follow-up to the hook.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be awkward, like how fans said. The Illidan pick really made me unsure about Dignitas' draft, though I still believed in the JPL Triple Assassin. But it was the Hunt, so it actually makes sense.
I've had similar experiences with it. I get to halfway through the voice clip of feel the, and then all of a sudden dead anyway. So that's fine. Fan though, there were some amazing fights in that game.
Yeah, definitely. MVP actually played that game pretty well up until the level 10 mark, where Dignitas got a fight MVP, before level 10, they were winning the Immortals, but after Dignitas started winning fights and taking control of the game. So if we could pause right here. The important thing to note here is that, first of all, the Immortal health. So this is the first indicator that at this moment in time, MVP is still ahead in this game. They have a Immortal that's basically full HP against a 30% HP Immortal. Second thing is the Protect was just used on the Artanis, and you see the portal right here. The thing about playing against Medivh is, and I know this because I play against Garong way too much, the thing about playing against them is the second you see both Portal and Protect, that means the Medivh is vulnerable. You should always immediately switch to him, and the only defense he has here is Leyline. So Sake should have actually immediately Leyline, but you see JPL immediately calls for the Sake target. He's the only one hitting him with Bio. He recognizes the vulnerability. They get the hunt, they blow him up. Sake did not cast the Leyline seal there because there was only a Stitches with Bio hitting him. He didn't recognize the threat, but he had no defenses left there, and he just got completely blown up by the hunt and go for the throat. So very, very impressive recognition of exactly what's happening in the fight there. Big shout out to JPL. Basically just popped Bio, immediately started slamming the Medivh, and from that call on the Medivh, they clean up this fight and they start setting the tempo of the game.
Do you think it's possible, Fan, that MVP Black didn't get around to checking heroics yet for Dignitas, that the hunt surprised them?
I think the hunt is actually very common these days. I said before the game, they're probably just gonna let the Illidan side soak the side lanes, and that generally means he will be running the hunt to join in the fight. I think it's more of a Sake might be unfamiliar with Medivh. We heard that, I saw on Reddit that he started spamming Medivh after they played Roll 20 in the group stages. That was only a week ago, and I feel like he's not completely used to the hero yet. He's trying to adapt to the meta, but maybe he hasn't mastered it yet.
It's so cool you pointed out that situation then, because he learned so fast, mechanically so good, but then he doesn't know all the scenarios yet, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I loved how quickly Dignitas jumped on the target every time once they identified that someone was going to be vulnerable. They were so good at recognizing it. And also with the go for the throw choice instead of the more trending Cursed Bullet, just so that you don't have the risk of running Cursed Bullet into Force of Will, and that you can quickly react to someone in between those Force of Will cooldowns.
So we're moving on to game 4. It's going to be Cursed Hollow. And now we're at a bit of a shift here in the tournament, because Team Dignitas is one game away from putting both European teams in the upper bracket final. Yeah. Which
guarantees the top 2 spot in the tournament.
Which guarantees at least one of the European teams, well actually it guarantees 2 European teams in the top 3.
2 in the top 3, 1 in the top 2.
Which is...
And half in the top 1.
I mean, if you kind of... All right, then.
Math on stream.
let's push him away. So overall, this is... If Dignitas is able to accomplish this victory here, going in to draft number 4, as we go on to Cursed Hollow 2-1 currently for Team Dignitas, then that really does set a precedence going into the next couple of days.
Yeah, it definitely would. And already at this point, with the 2-1 lead for Dignitas, Black is definitely feeling the heat at this point.
Yeah.
Having to win 2 in a row, and then also at least 1 point relying on your opponent making the choice of first pick or map choice, that's a huge problem. So we've seen Black with a couple of